Hey guys, Mike out of here with another episode of Real Estate on Record. I'm here today with the champ, Steve
The
Zolinardo.
champ? I don't know about champ.
The champ is here. Drove all the way in from Florida last night to be
Yeah,
here.
man. Got in at 6 p.m.
That's
Yeah.
it.
5 p.m.? 5 p.m.
Nice. Today, what are we talking about? Market update?
Yeah, I think it's a good idea just to kind of give everybody, how the market looks right now, and I think also a prediction going into the rest of the year, and then also what we see for 2025. I think it's good. Gonna give a good prediction on everything.
Yeah, beautiful. I did a little, I was telling you, it came from Sean. Sean recommended, and brilliant point, just to break down where all the everything's happening right now.
The action,
The action.
saleable properties.
Yeah, just because we're looking at a variety of different types of properties and price points, and I basically broke down absorption rates, basically how long like in any given market, certain price point would take to sell all that inventory of currently what's listed on the market. So I broke it down basically under $1 million, all freehold, so no condos in there. We're looking at under $1 million. We're looking at 2 months of inventory, which is pretty still competitive market.
That's really good, actually.
Yeah, we're still seeing a couple like properties getting into multiples for sure at that price point, just because there's not a lot available. And then basically 1.3 to a million, we're at like 2.7 months of inventory, still very competitive, or fairly competitive. And then it's when we get into the 1.6 to 1.3 range, I think we were
So
at
1.3 to 1.6.
1.3 to 1.6. I got it here. Sorry, 3.7 months of inventory, which is still.
So where's the big buildup? We have a total. If you had to average all that out, what's the total? You said, I think you were saying 5.6 or something.
5.6 months of inventory. I went up to 3.5 million. So basically 3.5 million and down, we're at 5.6 months of inventory.
So where's it all coming up from the 2 million plus?
So once we hit that, once we hit that 2 million, 2 to 2.3, we get 5.3 months of inventory. So that's where we start to make that turn. Because up until 2 million, we're at 4.3 months, which is still a balanced market, right? And obviously, I guess it's 6 months or more is when you get into that seller side, right? But over that 2 million is where you start getting close to that. And then 2.3 to 2.6 months of 2.3 to 2.6 million, we're at 6.5 months of inventory.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. And then 2.6 to 3 million is 8.3 months.
So exactly where we are with
Yeah.
the project.
Yeah. And 3.3 million to 3.5, we're at almost 10 months, 9.7 months of inventory.
Oh, wow.
So, like, if you're looking at that high price point, it could take you a year to sell your property, right? Over 3 million.
Yeah. That's if you're priced competitively, too.
Yeah, so if you're taking time
You think your house is 12 million, but it's really worth 9.
you're
You're
gonna
gonna be on for 2 years.
be there for a while.
Yeah. Yeah, it's funny. It's strange because not strange, but you kind of looking at both sides of the market for myself too. It's like very similar to what's happening in Florida. Like we're at 5.6 months of inventory, single family dwelling, but this is the whole of like let's say Estero Bonita, and also where we're building in Capes. Very similar amount of homes for sale, but it's like you're. Look, I sold a property 2 weeks ago or a week and a half ago. And we were listed at 289. We sold it for 288, and it's been on the market for 4 months. But it's $1,000 off of list price. The thing is, the difference to the clients there. A lot of the clients are like cash or whatever. It's not like they're not in the mood to kind of give anything. They don't want to nudge. Which sometimes I'm like, you got to give something in order to make this deal go through, right? Don't play so hard up on it. But it's quite interesting how they run very similar. They run parallel to each other, just opposite ends of the border.
It's just, I guess, a telltale of economical times, right? Just both sides of the border.
Yeah, I think. So, what are you thinking of the end of the year now? So we're in July, end of July, or mid to end of July, and going into August. So we're going to be entering the third quarter. Are we in the third quarter? We are. Yeah, because in October, November, December is the fourth. So we are as of August, the third quarter. We're still in the second quarter.
Yeah, so August
technically.
No,
we're in the
July.
We're in the third quarter. July. Okay. Yeah.
I think it's been really weird, and just looking at like our typical real estate cycle, like we're normally seeing like higher volume, sales volume in what is it? April, May, June. We typically see higher like sales volume, and then July, August, September, and then once kids go back to school, a couple weeks into school is when we kind of get into that fall market.
Yeah. Yeah.
I feel like we're in the like kind of reverse a little bit. Like even the end of last year was kind of the reverse, right? January, February, March, we were like on fire. Like usually it's a little bit slower. It was like stupid busy, right?
Yeah.
Versus and then April, May, June, it was still steady, but not as busy for a spring market as we should have had. Let's say, right? We had like an early spring market this year. Let's say, now getting into July is like July 1st, a switch went off again, and we're getting those calls,
Fine,
right?
yeah.
Which is gonna like we're already starting to put those listings on the market, but it's also I think we're gonna have a busy back end of the year. That busy fall market might come into play, especially with this rate anticipation of a rate drop July 24th, which I think we're set for. We softened inflation last week. Unemployment's doing fairly bad, let's say, where there's a lot of unemployment. We don't see a lot of big jobs getting created. A lot of it's part-time employment, right? So I think we're ready for that next rate drop. So I think if we continue to drop in July and potentially I think September 4th, July 24th, and then September 4th is the one after that. If we see one of those two, I think we'll have a
Job creation. Sorry, job creation. They were predicting to have 40,000 new jobs in July. We went in reverse to minus 4,000. So
Correct.
they've kind of like, I don't know how you
We're
didn't say like 40,000. They created 20,000. They said they're going to create 40. They went minus
we lost
4,000. Yeah.
So that's what I mean.
It's
We're
like
moving
minus
in the right direction for a
44,000.
cut because
Yeah.
we need to spike those jobs coming back.
Even like again, it's everything kind of looks in a sense like we've been stuck in this kind of puddle in a sense. It's like grim procedures right now. But if you kind of look at the economy as a whole, not the greatest. But you kind of look at just all these like again, I always step back to all these REITs that are buying up multifamily residents and stuff like that, getting ready for rental properties. Again, we're gonna have to step into this, start buying properties. It is what it is, even though we're kind of the climate. And the only last night was the Republican National Conference there, the convention rather. So kind of looking at, we're hoping that obviously we'll probably get a new government here, administration in Canada, then obviously the U.S. U.S. is going to basically command or set the stage for even the world in the sense of the economy. I'm reading an article right now. Oil prices falling already. So one part of President Trump's speech last night was drill baby drill. So he's going to start going back into the reserves,
supply.
which what that's going to do is basically take inflation down, putting more money back into the people's pocket, into like the citizens' pocket. If they're doing it in the U.S., it's going to stem off hopefully into Canada too, which gives these more people, like everybody, us,
More money
in our pockets
Yeah.
where we can spend it.
going further.
Hopefully with the lower interest rate, as you're saying, the cuts, energy costs are going to start coming down, which energy costs come down. That means food prices are coming down. Then we start having more money.
Yeah.
Having more money means you have more buying power to buy housing and cars and a whole bunch of good stuff that we enjoy very, very much. So it's very positive news. Honestly, I watched the whole convention last night. It was an hour and a half. And again, this is like, we went the opposite way here the last 4 years there. We need to be no more wars. Inflation needs to be cut in half. This whole thing, so we can kind of focus on North America rather than the rest of the world. And then with if that all comes to fruition and we do get a Republican government in America and we get a conservative government here in Canada, the future is going to look quite nice for good, at least one sector of it, like 4 or 5 years, we're going to have a good growth period. So if you're buying into real estate now at the bottom of this liberal government, let's just say it is what it is. It's, again, not left or right. It is a spade is a spade.
Yeah.
At the end of this liberal government, you'll be able to get a rise in appreciation in the, let's say, conservative government going forward. So it's just like a strategy right now. Clearly, we're building too. We're kind of banking on this that even the U.S. at some point, if the government does change hands, we're going to hit this tail end right at the right point, sell for a great amount of money, and then start that.
Roll us into the next one.
Yeah,
on that upward
Yeah.
trajectory.
And that's gonna tail into Canada, as you can say, like the more months of inventory, like everything kind of runs parallel with both markets. So let's see what happens. It looks pretty promising, to be honest. And again, it's
Yeah, and I think when tying that back into like real estate sales, even just in the GTA or even in the south of the border, right now we have a lot of inventory, so we could go make that choice, right? And I think with people like that I'm seeing and talking to daily is we're having a hard time getting off the fence because we have that fear of that high rate today, versus people forget that like in the high times we were fighting to get any property, right? So a lot of people were settling. Like it was just the nature of the beast at the time. Was you were settling because you sold or you need to upgrade. Yeah, you were looking for that four bedroom, four bathroom or whatever, let's just say, but you were settling that it didn't have a finished basement because you needed to find a place to live, right? So now we can go pick what we want. For example, Bolton right now has like 56 detached homes
Yeah.
available. Last year I couldn't find a detached home and get there in time to get it for a decent price. It was always multiples, right? Versus today, now I think average days on market is like 30. So like now is that time we can go pick and then refinance in that upward trajectory that we're talking about in whatever, whether it's 6 months, a year, 2 years, 3 years, whatever it is, that we can get into that product that we really like and not feel like we settled and refinance down to a normal rate when it comes.
I think you make a valid point, and I think we gotta basically just never forget. Like we cannot forget about what happened with the process. And like you just said, then you would settle. It was always settling. I remember when I bought my house in 2017, which wasn't as crazy a market as 22, but it was nuts. I bought a $1.5 million house, $1.5 million house, not even looking at it because we
Wow.
didn't want to lose.
And you knew the market.
Snowstorm.
Thank God you knew the market, the house, the area.
Well, that's where I wanted to be. I didn't even give a shit. I wanted 9 feet in the basements, 10 on the second, and 9 on the upper. It's all I wanted was I'm a short guy, but I like high ceilings. Let's face it. But it was like I was like, I don't give a fuck. It was 8, 9,
buy
and
it.
8.
Yeah.
Buy it. I don't. Well, the backyard. I wanted a big backyard. It's a small backyard we got. Instead of like 130 foot, we got 101.
Yeah.
You know, it was just. Oh, but then it was. Oh, but it had landscaping, so it was like it was just a bunch of stuff. Oh, we spent this money. My wife did not like the kitchen. For a woman not to like the kitchen, it's a big issue with the house. Clearly,
And the house wasn't that old.
no,
It was like what, 10 years old, 8
no,
years
not
old.
even, no, it was like 3 or 4 years
Oh,
old.
there you go.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, it was
like-
2014. It was 3 years old.
So it's not like you're gonna go renovate that house.
No,
Doesn't
you're
make
not.
sense.
Especially 1.5 million at the time in 2017.
That was a lot
It
of money.
A lot of money. We
Yeah.
were making a jump from 940,000 to 1.5.
Wow.
It's a substantial amount of money, right?
And you didn't even get to see the place.
Pretty much.
So
yeah.
that's the sacrifice we saw, right?
Yeah.
Just
So,
to
so
settle.
we need not to forget these times when you got a time like right now where you have opportunity to kind of view property, an actual decision on something that you actually like. Clearly, like we just had Luca Quinteri from Ultimate Mortgage, or one of our mortgage agent partners that we deal with. Get your financing in order. Make sure you can afford it. Don't jump into something you can't afford. The last thing we want to have as as professionals, like our company here, it's like we don't want any. Like we have a few clients that did went against what we wanted them to do, and now we're dealing with it. We never wanted this. It's like, is it work out for us? Of course, we're making more money in the buying, the selling, the whole thing. But we don't want that. We want to be one and done. And then in 5 years, you want to upgrade. We want to be your partner on your financial future, not reaping off of commission checks. It doesn't make sense for it because it's short lived. Like that client may not buy another property in 10 years. It doesn't make sense. So make sure you're financially set what you're buying, but ultimately get everything together and start looking at property now. I would imagine, because we're at the bottom of this, again, liberal government, and we're gonna get a rise with the new conservative governments. And look at the politics, guys. Forget about it. No soft and hard feelings here. Just look at it. Right. If you're looking at it for financial, like a logic, ride this new wave that's gonna go forward. And that's not just in Canada; it's also the U.S. clearly, and we're gonna see that going forward. So. Yeah, I would get your shit together and kind of look at what's happening, because it's going to be a good opportunity.
We had the opportunities here now, right? And we are finding great deals. Like, for example, we did a deal this week. Let's use that as an example. The guy purchased a property for $1 million. He's probably 1.1. He put at least 275 to 300,000 in renovation, and we picked it up for 1,230,000, right? Like we basically got a renovation done for almost half the price, and we'd have to deal with it. My home inspector walked through it and said, like, I don't know why you called me. This house is like immaculate, right? Like obviously we're gonna find minor things, but he almost had to like basically say to justify why I'm here. I mean, I told him straight. I go, I'd rather you tell me that we paid the $500-600
100%
to have that peace of mind that we bought a great product, right? So there's opportunity out there in that sense too, right? Like obviously the guy needed to sell it, which is fine. Unfortunately, he made a mistake, took a little bit of a loss. It is what it is, no hard feelings. But he was happy to unload it to me because
imagine the weight he's carrying.
It was costing him $11,000 a month.
Wow.
So like he was just like happy to release it, right? So we're not trying to take advantage. We ultimately helped him before he went into power sale.
Yeah, for sure.
Right. So at the end of the day, there is those opportunities that are around right now, which I don't think we're gonna find them when we get into an upticking market.
It's definitely there at the bottom. And again, the only thing that kind of promotes this thought in my mind is basically these big real estate trusts that are buying up. Again, they're buying for affordable units for rental because they're looking for this rental society. Basically, we've been calling for this for 10 years.
The single family residents.
It's buying up like crazy. So you need to buy in now before they buy up everything. And then after they know there's going to be a rise, they wouldn't be putting good money into bad investments.
Record numbers.
Correct. Yeah. So
like just to go over it, like from the beginning of the year, Buffett bought into Lennar basically.
Lennar and D.R. Horton,
for
$700 million.
Whatever, $8 or $16 million. Then Blackstone purchased
60,000 units
at 3 point something billion.
They're into almost 10. The first one was almost 7 billion, and the next one was like 3 billion.
There you go.
10 billion.
And then what was that other one that we were talking about the other day? It was like
Q something. Q. I forgot the name. It was 1.2 billion or 2.4 billion. Their largest real estate investment. Plus, I'm canary in the mines there. Canary in the coal mines in Southwest Florida. Now we deal with obviously a lot of these new construction. We're buying these for clients, and it's that those townhouse projects that they're naturally attached to these communities were purchased by REITs, real estate investment trusts, and they bought not just one of 200 units. They bought 5 just along this little line of housing. So that's 1,000 units they just picked up. And what that does, and what people don't understand is, well, that's, they got money, they can do whatever they want. But you're looking at the small picture. Look at, kind of like distill that down from like a bale of hay or a bale of grapes, and you make that 1 ounce of grappa. Like it's distill it into an alcohol. That's affecting us, our kids, because that was affordable housing for them to purchase, not to rent. So they could have bought into Naples for, let's say, $350,000 or $340,000 for these towns. Now they're not available. So the next step up,
whole product out of the market.
It's gone.
It's off the shelf.
The next step up there is like a single family dwelling at $500,000-600,000. So now they can't buy. Well, but they can rent. Now they're going to rent these units for $2,500 a month, and they jack the price. I don't know how they get the rents there. We're struggling with getting rents, and these guys have these things listed for astronomical pricing, and they're getting renters. It's wild.
They could also control the market too, right? Like if you have 1,000 units, you rent out 500. Well, now you're controlling how much supply and demand.
100%.
Right. So I think that's a part of what they're controlling, right? Like if you're going to look at the comps out of those, let's say 1,000 units, you're looking at the last 6 months or whatever, what's leased. Well, if they only had 20% of them available and then slowly they're opening it up, they're going to be raising their prices as time goes on and controlling their rents.
It's just, so I drove back this time from Estero to Toronto. It's a long drive. We're driving through many states. And every state that we see along the highways, like even in Estero off the 75, is like a lot of these real estate trusts building luxury townhouses. They're like condos. They're like 2 or 3 story condos. They're really like, they're not really, maybe 4 stories now, but they're building them all across like the state. Literally the state, the nation rather. So if I'm driving from Florida, I'm going from Florida to Georgia to the Carolinas, so North, South Carolina, into West Virginia, to through Ohio, into like Pennsylvania, then into New York State. Like you see them along the roads. We went into North Carolina to grab a bite or whatever, and literally, yeah, we went down one road and bang, it was like just all these luxury towns again. It's just like consistent, and they're rentals. They're not for sale. So I mean, I'm watching this thing. So clearly they're gearing up for something. And this is why for us, we need to be buying real estate based on what they're doing, because they have obviously a lot more analytics than we do. Buy real estate, or if you're buying investments, you got to jump into it now. And even like have, because dealing with the Americans now down there, they feel like they've already lost their opportunity to buy. But when we start seeing townhouses for $270,000 in a gated community or a non-gated whatever, like, you can buy. But they're looking at affordability, this and that. But you need to get that thing out of your mind where you need to joint venture. You need to get 2-3 people together and start buying. Buy little chunks of things. People rather buy a stock or whatever they want to do and not know anything about the CEO or the president that owns the company. Right. Why not? Your two other partners, if they're a friend or family member, whatever it is, even though you feel like all these relationships usually end at some point, but at least you have an opportunity to end it and not get ended on you. You know what I'm saying? And then at the same point, you're owning a piece of real estate. You're owning 33% if you did it in 3 people, rather than 0.000000000.
And it's tangible. You could touch it. You could feel it, right? It serves a purpose.
Yeah.
Right. So you have control of
100%.
So,
but then it comes back to, if it's an investment, like how does it cash flow? That's an issue too right now. And I think that's why you want a joint venture right now. And put as much money down as possible. Those days before, when I bought my first investment properties in like 2001, 2-ish, it was, you put 5 points down. Yeah. Those days are gone. Clearly, you got to put 20%. Why not try to put 30, 35, 40% down? So it's cash flowing right now, and you got a lot of equity in that property. And at some point, the markets. Hopefully now in the next couple of years, we're going to see this thing bounce back, and then you can refinance, pull your initial egg out, your initial nest egg, or whatever cash you put in, your nut, if you want to call it, and then you put that back in your bank account. But you own a piece of real estate, like basically with your capital back, with the same amount of equity in. Like these are not like very, like mind-breaking strategies.
No,
These are
any
YouTube investor, like they're very basic, right? And it can be done. I think we have to get this out of your head. I'm talking even now to the American, citizens and people around in Florida. Like you gotta be able to joint venture, guys. Like you gotta get that shit out of your head. You gotta do it on your own. You gotta joint venture. You have opportunity now. If you can buy things at 270 and you still have an opportunity there to put 10, 20 points down, buy as much as you can. Yeah. Don't hesitate.
No, you're 1,000% right.
Yeah.
Even here, like when we're looking at investments for certain people, like there's not much, I would say, that like out of the older stuff that you want to touch, just because of landlord-tenant rules getting rid of tenants. But like we found a great opportunity a little bit further north where they made them purpose-built duplexes, right? Where you can set your own rents, put people into them. You should be cash flowing as long as like you're not like 5% down type thing, and they're not susceptible to rent control, right? Because they're built after 2019 or 18, whatever that date is there. So like there is still some sort of opportunity here. Obviously fewer and far between, but I think on both sides of the border we've got an option here.
You're gonna have to start putting money together, and then just like a caveat, this guy's brilliant at finding stuff. You're great at finding stuff. It's like no, you're great. Like I don't know, I can't do it anymore. Honestly, you're fantastic at finding like good deals, good options for clients. Like I'm never worried. You're like fucking hammer it every time. Like it's just, and then at some point you gotta export your ass to Florida.
find the great deals down there. No, it's fun, but no, I agree. I think now is the time to buy, because once we make that shift, prices are rates are gonna be lower, but again, that price pressure is gonna come back, and we're gonna be purchasing. We're gonna get less for more money for sure.
Yeah.
And then once that turn happens.
But just even going earlier in the conversation, if they're going to drill locally oil, environmentalists, please, guys, it's not as bad as it seems. The batteries are worse, trust me, than the actual. The damage on like farming battery minerals is worse than what we're currently doing with oil. So if they drill, clearly the energy is going to be at a lower price. Lower price means ultimately you're going to have cheaper. Inflation's coming down, which makes everything a lot lower. And then also what Trump was saying too was regarding AI. AI needs double the energy that it has now currently. So if you're not creating your own energy, what are you doing? You're basically suffocating your country before it even starts, because AI is obviously going to take everybody to a whole nother level.
Yeah.
So if you don't have energy it's going to take twice the amount of energy that we're using right now. So
It's
logically, we need to create more. We have to get more energy. How do we get it? We got it. We got all the resources between Canada and the U.S. Like, it's here. Let's do it.
And even our if you look at like the carbon footprint map of the world, Canada's offering like putting off 1% of the like gross like carbon. Like we're nothing compared to like
Where is it coming?
China.
What's the what's the percentage?
It's like stupid. Like it's like I think it's like 50% or 40%. I could pull up the map, but it's ridiculous. They're building like 2 coal plants a week. Like it's like insane. Like we'll never anything we do, we cannot fix their issue. And let's just call it spade a spade. We have the biggest forest. They're one of the biggest forests, or second biggest forest in
Sucking
the
all the
world.
carbon in.
Yeah, that's sucking up all, cleaning the air, right? So like at the end of the day, like we can do whatever we want to fix it, but we're not going to stop China.
And look what they're doing. They're probably gearing up for the AI too. They want to create more energy. Obviously, their population's a lot more. They're 1.4 billion people, something of that nature. Yeah, that's just wild. But see, then if you kind of look at government themselves, so if we're creating only 1% of that pollution rather than the rest, and they're creating all these restrictions on, they want to go net zero, they want to have full battery by 2030. This whole shit. It's basically, it doesn't even make sense. Doesn't make sense. Like that's all a cash grab. You kind of look at it as a corporation. You kind of look at it as a business. That's all a cash grab. You're gonna extra taxation on carbon. What are you gonna do with extra taxation on carbon? It makes you basically it's gonna get you out of a gas powered vehicle and get you what they want to sell you is basically electric. It's just these games are so old now. They're so easy to kind of understand, which is silly, right? I don't understand. What do you do though, right? Does the new government fight back and kind of keep it all open? Because clearly we have a lot of resources here, Canada.
They also there's the other side of the coin too, that part of the electric part of things is for them to control when they can turn on and off your car, right? So I don't want to get into it, go down a rabbit hole, but I'm just saying is that part of it too, right?
1,000%. 15-minute cities, electric cars. We went golfing,
and you couldn't get
and
off
I
the
couldn't
fairway.
get off the goddamn green. And
the rough, yeah.
Yeah, and they shut the cart down on me, and I couldn't get into reverse. Had to bump it up and then go. And then, sorry guys, but we stole an additional nine holes because there's nobody there at the golf course. But we had this electric car. I'm like, what happens? It knows we finished. Is it going to shut us down the way there? It didn't. But I mean, it has if they set the computer right, it's like, okay, they're done the 18, needs to be in this patch of area, and that's it. You can't access the parking lot.
Or you can't go down the path to go to the next hole.
No, you can't do it.
It's very simple.
So now like put that on the roads. Same thing. You can't get into Mississauga to Brampton unless you pay a fare. So you got to go online, say, I got to pay a toll. Think about it.
Well, England already has the cameras. So as you're driving through England, it captures your plate, right? And as it captures your plate, it's sending you a bill.
But how about if they don't allow you to go until you pay? So imagine like being in Mississauga, you want to go.
Well, that's where it's going because they're cutting down the cameras.
And it just, I'm just saying, like and your car just stops.
Yeah. Pretty much. That's where we're at.
Yeah, that's kind of crazy. So
very crazy.
So what? So the problem is if you frame like a neurolinguistics program, you frame things, right? You frame them to like hot topics, right? Like environmental, pollution, stuff like that. You frame it like that, but you put some underside bullshit that you want to really, what the real reason is. And then the people don't really do any research because they're busy trying to like pay bills, clearly in today's society. And then you're focused on, we need to like cut down on this pollution. And it's just like, no, there's like a whole underlying purpose to it. But what do you do? Like,
I don't know what the answer is.
No, it's not much.
But I guess all we can do is.
But so it's saying the unpopular topics right now with politicians, if it feels unpopular to you, this feels wrong, like Trump saying drill, drill, drill. That's like being free. That's basically the 3 words, rather than like than what you're thinking. It's not over polluting at all. So it is what it is.
No, especially now that they've proven that there's a bigger carbon footprint for going the other way. So
Oh yeah, the lithium, for the batteries, the cobalt, the disposal of the batteries. No one knows what the hell to do with them
no,
after.
exactly.
Yes.
Even like I know a lot of projects were given out to like the gas stations or sorry, government money was given out as a, I guess a program to incentivize them to put like charging stations. Let's say, for example. Well, yeah, they launched it. They started doing it. They got their grant, and well, now they shut down the program because like these are big gas station corporations. Like, and I'm hearing through people, but well, if they can make money off of it and it made sense, don't you think they would keep building it out?
Yeah, fair enough.
Why would they stop? Right?
They
So
shut it down.
they shut it down. They got their incentive money and
So it doesn't
shut down
work.
shut it down.
So again, it's a cash scam,
Of
cash
course,
grab.
1000%.
Yeah, and who pays for it? The taxpayers. We pay for that. Our tax money. It's what's wild. What a wild place. I hate getting old.
You get smarter.
Yeah, you know too much. It's better to be young.
Yeah, no, you're right. All right, guys. Thanks for watching another episode of Real Estate on Record. Be sure to check us out on the next one. I'm Mike Gaddy.
Steve Zelenardo. We'll catch you in the next one, guys.
Ciao.
Ciao, ciao, ciao.